All right, what we got here? All righty. What we have here is the ES. I know I said the NQ, but I need to trade the ES and so I know what kind of parameters to use on that as well. Uh, Now, if you look at OFB main menu, live pulse is still there. It's just called pulse heat map on the OFB main menu. OFB main menu, just go to pulse heat map. That is your live pulse. I don't know if Timothy is on or not. Called pulse heat map. Uh, I'm switching things up because I am not scalping this market. I am I'm changing things up. I'm not going to be hyper scalping. Uh, I have tried it and tried it and tried it, and these market conditions were not conducive to it. When the climate in the Middle East settles down and we don't have so much crap going on, then I'll go back to that. But my trading plan with that scalping is not very conducive in this environment with the spikes that we are getting. Yesterday, I was basically break even, and yesterday I was in a trade and I tried to flatten the trade, and it got me out at it took a hit on the funded account and it finally got me out. So the slippage on the NQ is quite big when you have these wild spikes and stuff. The slippage on the ES, because it's a thickly traded market, is a lot less. Also, the NQ is it's a thinly traded. The NQ is a thinly traded market, and I know the thumbnail and everything said NQ, but I'm looking at a 5 minute ES. Um, So if you don't want to see ES trading, I'm not going to be scalping the ES. I'm going to be structurally trading it. I'm only going to be streaming until 11:30. Then I have to run and go do something. Uh, but let's take a look at the volume profile. Um, Also, if someone can look at OFB main menu and tell me if Pulse Heat Map, if that menu is showing up, I actually tested it on another laptop, so it did show up for me. I just want to make sure it's still there. So right now we are looking at. Let's look at the both. We're going to look at overnight and everything. Let's look at both. This is the ES. Now the ES and the NQ kind of trade in tangent with each other. The NQ, because I used to spread trade the ES and the NQ, and I will go over that strategy in the future. It's not the type of strategy you will use on a prop firm account, okay? Because these little prop firms don't like strategies like spread trading and stuff. But let's go over the ES. The ES, as you can see here, we have just been going straight up. Okay. We had a nice, well, it looks like a small P day there. We had a bounce day there. We had like a P day here. Yesterday was kind of like a bounce day. So now, if you look right up here, the overnight high, we're right at the overnight high of the other. I think that was Friday. Okay, so we are right in this area right here where we could break that area, and then we can go down into this area. Do, do, do. We can go down into this area right up in here. Okay, so let me take off the overnight point of control. Okay, these, whoops, these right here, these little gray dots are the overnight highs and lows. Okay, those are the overnight highs and lows. So what I am going to be doing is, because I'm not going to be hyper scalping, this market is just chewing me up, so I'm not going to be doing that. So what I am going to be doing is just volume profile analysis and actually trading a 5 minute chart and try to get some bigger swings. And that's going to be on the ES because the ES likes to adhere to order flow a little bit better than NQ. NQ is kind of a wild, squirrely freak. So the the ES adheres to order flow a little bit better. It's a little bit better for me to read it, and also to stack them balances hold better. And that's what I'm looking for. If we could possibly go down into right up here into this area right here. If we break the overnight low, if we break the overnight low, which is right here, those dotted lines, um, uh, then I'm thinking we could probably come down here. If we break this area right here, then the next one is down in here. Boy, that was kind of, I need to redo. I'm not going to be streaming as much because I need to redo this volume profile. I really need to redo the volume profile, and I need to put it into a window like this. So I tried to do a new window to see what it would uh, be like. And these new windows that I thought I would try to code a new one, because sometimes when you write code, when you do it a second time, it's usually better. But this time it's not. Yeah, let's take a look at, well, we can get, let's go to a 10 minute. Might look a little bit better. There we go. So we just go to historical, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 of them, because it doesn't show the weekends. But that's what I'm thinking. On the ES, we break 7150. This low right here, we're right at the point of control uh, for the overnight here. Okay, we're right at the point of control. When I'm thinking, uh, we come down. If we break the 71 150, the next support area is right up in here around 137 on the ES. Okay, if we break that area, we could possibly go down here, and because when you lose this volume right up in this area right here, when you lose that volume, it's like a ledge. You walk off the ledge and you fall, and then you're going to be down in here into this area about 70, 85. So that is what I'm looking at. Now I'm going to have this off to the side. Is it 9:23? I'm going to have this off to the side. I'm just going to keep an eye on that. Now, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the ES, and the ES. Let me show you my settings for the ES. The ES. I'm showing the price line. Level 2. I'm not going to show it on this one. I've got the heat map for that. Show volume profile and the delta profile. And the delta surge. I'm not hyper scalping. I will get back to that when this Iran stuff and all this environment has settled down. But the large volume, I'm going over one order. I'm just using one order. I'm not using aggregated. I'm using one order and large volume of 50. I want to see where the large single order contracts are, like this one right here, the 73 was one large single order contract, single order with 73 contracts. The tick merge, I'm not tick merging it because ES is thickly traded. And balance is set to 4, and the levels are set to 2 for the ES. The minimum volume is set to 5 for the heat map, and resting orders of 50, and the DOM depth of, I mean, you can do that to 150, but I'm not showing the DOM depth right here. I'm showing it right up in here. Okay. And I've only got 75 levels. I don't need to know what's up there 300 levels above me. It's not needed because these numbers right here will update as it starts running up. There's really no need to know what the heck is way up there when it's not needed. So that is what I have set for the ES. And the way that I'm going to trade this is off of stacked and bounce levels. Stacked and bounce levels of like this area right here in pre-market. We ran up to it and then we bounced off of it. Where are you going to put your stop? Well, you got a lot of volume up in here, the green, so you can put it up here. So uh, that's what I'm looking at. So if your stop was up here, about 2 3 points is about $137. And you come down in this area, you make about 250. This is what I'm looking at. Now, this one right here, this one would have gotten you stopped out. Okay. This is a sell and bounce. We came up here and we came up here and tested it. Once you broke this area right here, you got stopped out. Okay. You got stopped out. No big deal. You're not going to win them all. And if I can get that back there, you're not going to win them all. My mouse is just not very good. I think you got stopped out for like $100 or something. Now, I like taking them when they are sloping down. When the moving average, the order flow bar moving average is sloping down, I like to take it. Okay. When you come way down here and you're way down here, you need to wait for a move back up to the imbalance area. This sell imbalance right here, I would not take that because we are sloping upwards on the moving average. So I really wouldn't take that, to be quite honest. Okay, you got a sell and bounce right up in this area. Okay, you probably would have gotten moved to a break even. You have a sell and bounce, a double sell and bounce right here, so you can get in right here, start getting out up in this area right here. Okay, that was pre-market, so that would have netted around $100. And as you can see, the ES adheres to the imbalance areas pretty good. You got to be careful, and you'll notice when you start deviating from the moving average quite big and you get a imbalance area, it's not going to be as strong because you've deviated from the moving average. And this moving average, the way I coded this moving average is Heiken-Ashi data smooth with a 9 exponential moving average. This is the ES. I know the thumbnail said NQ. I just need to create a new thumbnail when I'm trading the ES. I'm only going to be streaming until 11:30 this morning. We got 2 minutes. See right here, you see how this adhered to it pretty well. We have a imbalance area right here, a stacked imbalance area. We came down here. You can probably start getting out about right up in this area. So that would have netted you around $150, $200 for one contract. The reason I'm going to the ES, and I've traded the ES for years. This is like 3 o'clock in the morning, but the reason I'm going back to the ES is because it's a thickly traded market. It adheres to the imbalance areas pretty good. Order flow and stuff is a little bit easier to read with it. The NQ travels quite crazy, especially in a news-driven environment like this. So what you have to do is just have to downsize. Just downsize and try to survive until the market is more conducive to your style of trading. If your style of trading is trading chaotic news and you get big, huge spikes down and you try to get the bottom and get a run up, then that's fine. Uh, I am updating the pricing. Okay. So the license key is $95 for a whole year. It comes out to like $8 a month. This is a little bit too much. I don't like them. Let's just go to 25. I don't even know if that. Let's just clear this out. Um, it's still kind of a little much, but hey, we'll see what the market's open. As you can see, we're selling off. You got to wait. Okay, let's just clear this out again. You really got to wait until do, do, do. Let me get my order entry up here. Uh, SM6. Let's get the right account. Been a couple times because the default's to SIM 101, and sometimes it's not that good. Let's see what we can do here. Just wait until the market settles down. It looks like we are definitely selling off. We got a nice big high volume area up in here. We got a stacked sell and bounce right up in here around 160 area. Okay, that's below the point of control. Got big high negative delta right there. The first 5 minute candle, we are very, very bearish. First 5 minute candle, extremely bearish. Also, I like to trade the opening drive sometimes on the ES. I wasn't ready for it this morning, uh, but I do like to trade the opening drive sometimes. You can get some nice moves. A couple weeks ago, I traded it opening drive. Might have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was streaming, so it's definitely on there. Um, Okay, so we are definitely below this area right here. If you see this area right here, you see this 151 area right here, we are definitely below it. So the point of control, let's switch over to RTH hours. Okay, let's switch over to RTH hours. As you can see, we're red. We got the overnight high. We got 7150. 7150 is the overnight lows. Okay, 7150 is the overnight lows. We start breaking 7150. That's the overnight lows. See how we came down to it and kissed it? 7150 area. You know what that reminds me, what I need to do is I'm updating the site. I'm going to a monthly subscription as well. So people don't want to pay the whole year up front. That's fine. You can go 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Uh, I worked on it a little bit last night, so that should be up by tomorrow. I would say up by what's today? Hey, like Thursday morning or something. It should be up there. Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Thursday morning. So if you want to do monthly, that's fine. You can do monthly, or you can get the early bird, and get $95 for a whole year. There's a lot more to come, folks. There is a lot more to come. I've only just started this. I've been doing this for about 2 months. I would say heavy coding for 2 months. Uh, and I got more to come. I need to wrap up the DOM. I need to trade. I need to get that DOM wrapped up. I love trading off the DOM. I did it for years with jigsaw trading. All right, we got a volume area being built out right here. You see this volume area right here? See that volume area right there? When we start trading above this, you see how thinly traded that volume is right there? You got to be careful. Boy, this mouse sucks. Um, must be that key. I don't know. You got to be careful. Yeah, you got to be careful when you start getting above thinly traded market areas like this because it can travel quite fast through that area because it's thinly traded. It's not an area of interest. Not an area of interest. We got about 2 we got about 1 minute before there we go. It closed right now. I need to put me a timer down there to be quite honest. We got 195 sitting on the, bid down here around 49, 49.50 around this area right up in here. You got about 200 sitting on the bid right there. Let's see if they start getting filled. Oh, they got filled. Look at that 226. Boy, they got filled, didn't they? Oh, they got filled. They got filled. We are breaking the overnight lows, guys. Oh, look at that thin volume right there. Be careful because it can snap back on you. You're trading the NQ. You got to be careful. I'm looking at a 5 minute with the volume profile. You got to be careful. That can snap back on you pretty quickly. We're starting to build out the volume area right here. We're still at a negative 750 delta. The previous 5 minute was negative 2000 delta. Are we finally gonna have a sell day? They've been running this stinking thing up for weeks now. Government slush fund. Well, that's what I think it is. I really don't know what it is, but that's what I'm thinking it is a government slush fund. If you got off that low, that's about a couple $100 on the ES. Eyes didn't do that. Okay, we are at the overnight lows. Eyes didn't do that. Maybe I should have, but I didn't do that. Maybe you guys were looking at the heat map and you got in on some of that. Right now, we're looking at the ES. We're looking at the June ES. 5 minute is the main chart right here. Is the 5 minute. Kind of trying to trade off the 5 minute. Maybe we can get some better reading. Uh, Trading the ES. I was thinking about trading crude oil, but man, crude oil is thinly traded market too. You get them spikes and it blows right past your stock market. You can get the crap beat out of you. You'll get slaughtered like a pig. You can't be doing crap like that. Let me get more coffee. Can't be doing stuff like that. I got the coffee pot right by my desk. I know the thumbnail said NQ, but I'm trading the ES. This is a one man show, folks. So we'll get there. The main thing is I just need to write the code. We have 184 resting bids at 71.47. At 47 hold, you got 180 bids sitting there. Got 180 bids, 180 bids, 180 biddies up there, down there at 147, right here, right up in here. See right there? Boy, my mouse sucks. Right there. Just sitting and waiting, folks. Sitting and waiting. We're right here. The 150 is the overnight lows. The 150 is the overnight lows. Okay. 150 is the overnight lows right here. Boom. If we lose that, we probably go down to 137 on the ES. That'll be your next support area, folks. That'll be your next support area. Right now, we are not breaking. We did break the 150, but then we're kind of holding it, so we don't know what they want to do. We're just sitting here waiting for them. We're sitting here waiting for them. Boy, they kind of picking up the volume, ain't they? Look at that. Look at that. They picking up the volume. Nice big volume on this previous 5 minute right there. You got some big volume filling out right up in here. You got some big volume filling out right up in here. You got negative 600 delta. Okay, you got about 200 sitting on the bid at 147. You still got them bids at 200 at 71.47. They are getting eaten up a little bit. They're getting filled a little bit. Are they going to refresh? Yep, they refreshed it a little bit, slightly a little bit. We don't know what they're going to do. What are they going to do, folks? What are they going to do? Are they going to go ahead and do this? We have no idea. We have no idea, folks. We don't know what they're going to do. All we know is that we're sitting here at the lows. Mm-mm-mm. We're sitting here at the lows. What are they going to do? Sitting here at the lows. We're sitting here at the lows. And I'm just going to go ahead and whoops. You're going to cost me a trade, ain't you, little jerk nut? We're just sitting here at the lows, folks. We're sitting at the lows. We're sitting at the lows, folks. You know, there's one thing you need to understand. If you're in the stinking chart trader, you need if you what 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 I didn't do that. Stop talking, you idiot, and manage the stupid trade. All right, we got order counts. What we got some ghost orders up in this mother lover. All right, all right. Let me cancel flat. All right, you saw me take that. Saw me take that. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I don't know how big of a trade that was. It was, I don't know, 175, 200. I don't. But the reason I took it is because of the bid. The bids were pretty strong. They were lifting the offer right there. So I went on ahead and took it when they lifted the offer. There's a reason why I got out, though. There's a reason why I got out. Okay. I started here. Let me zoom in. Can I zoom in? Can I zoom in? Okay. There's a reason up in here. Okay. So we had some volume up in here. I saw the bids. I took it right here. We're trading up here. It started getting light on the volume. You see this volume right up in here? Okay. When you see that selling right there, I was thinking if we lost this area right here, I'm just going to go ahead and trail my stop up here because I'm looking. What I was looking for is a pop up to the selling balance. It might still get there. Guess what? I'm out of the trade. I've already made my decision. I'm out of the stinking trade. So I made a little bit of money and I'm out of the friggin' trade. Do I care if it runs? No, I don't. Why? Because there's another trade right around the corner. It might not be today, it'll be tomorrow, maybe. Who knows? But also, you got to think about the political environment we're in. What is it going to do? We have no idea. And also, you're counter trend trading, folks. When you are counter trend trading like this, you got to be careful. When you're counter trend trading, you better be careful. We're filling out the volume right up there at about 154. We're filling out the volume up there on the ES. Um, it's actually good, but U.S. retail sales month over month 1.7 forecast is 1.4. That was at 8:30. We got Warsh confirmation hearing. Don't care about that. That's 10 o'clock. We got Fed Waller speaking at 2:30. Don't give a crap about that. Trump speaks at 4 o'clock. Who knows? There we go, folks. There we go. We're going to go test that sell and bounce. Come on, go for it. Now, if we lose this area right here, boom, we'll probably go back down. That's just my opinion, though. You better before you be clicking buttons and live accounts, you better be taking some advice from a professional. I'm just some old redneck trading. I'm just some old redneck trading for 10 years. been slinging code for the government for, I don't know, 20 years. Been like a long damn time. Um, yes, I'm an old man. Uh, yep. Are we gonna lose that area? What we're looking like, looking like we're losing that area. You better pick it up, folks. You better pick it up. You better pick it up. What we got here sitting on the bids, we ain't got nothing sitting on the bids down here for support. So you guys better pick it up. You got that 165, 147. That 147 is pretty good. That 147 is pretty good. You better pick it up. They're lifting the offer now. Uh, you see how they reclaimed that? That is nice. You see all this volume being filled out on the green. The green is the volume. The blue violet is the red. Okay, you see, we're looking at the ES June contracts. Okay, boom. That is pretty good, folks. That's pretty good. You got to be careful. Be careful for something like this. Be careful for a run up, little micro pullback, and then we close right here, and then we break that, and we just puke out. You got to be careful. You got to understand that my mouse sucks and I can't click the button. Um, man, what is with this thing? It's that one button. See how it bounced off of that? Mm-mm-mm. You see, that's why I went on ahead and trailed up my stop to where it was, and I just took my profit. Some people will be like, "Man, you gotta let the thing breathe." Well, in this environment, I trade like a monkey. See banana, take banana. We're trading the ES June contracts. We've already gotten one trade off. We got one trade off for about 3 points. Okay, about 3 points. So it was about a buck 50. About a buck 50. All right. We've already got ourselves one trade. It's about a buck 50. Okay, that's good. That funded account got hit kind of hard. As you can see, I'm trading a funded account, BX-M. A BX-M. Trading a funded account. Do-do-do-do. What are we going to do here? We're going to do this. We're going to do hotkey. We got hotkeys. No, we ain't got hotkeys set up. How about that? I got no stinking hotkeys set up. Oh, holy smokes. Let me, no, I don't care about that. I only got about an hour or so. Make sure you got if you're trading on Rhythmic, make sure you got Rhythmic Trader Pro open so you can close orders. If your broker don't want to close it for you, you little fake prop firm, they don't want to close it for you. Uh, or if Ninja Trader takes a dump on you, you got to be able to close the order. We're right up here against that sell and bounce area, man. We're right up here against that sell and bounce area. You got to be careful because right here we're at the overnight. Uh, if you look at this area right here, okay, we were at the overnight lows and then we kind of bounced up. Okay, we were at the overnight lows about one half. We were at the overnight lows and we kind of bounced up. That's why I kind of took the trade a little bit once I saw them lifting the offer. I kind of took the trade and got me a buck 50. Could I held it and made a heck of a lot more? Yeah, I possibly could, but do I care? No. Yeah, about 260 sitting on the bids at 158. That's pretty good, folks. Be careful. They're running up on thin volume. It can come back on you if you're trailing the stop. The live pulse, if you'll notice, this live pulse, or it's order flow pulse map. The live pulse is now to do in the main menu called Pulse Heat Map. If you go to OFB menu, it's in Pulse Heat Map. I took it out of here, out of the drop down with the mode. I had to separate the code. The code was getting kind of unruly. Uh, had to separate the code. If we close above this, we got about a couple minutes. We close above this and we get a nice little pullback to the moving average. We could get a nice little run up because well, Uncle Sam wants to prop the market up. You got about 172. You got 172 sitting on the offer up there about 165. You see them right there? You see the 172s up there at 165? Be careful. Be careful. Be's careful, folks. Be's careful. Okay, this is what you can do when you start trading these overnight lows. Okay, I mean, take a look at this historically. Okay, let's take off the ON stands for over. Can you even see that on there? The ONH stands for overnight high low. The ONPOC stands for overnight point of control. The candles, well, it just shows you the stinking candles. But if you take off the ONC point of control, just take that off and you'll see the green line. If you notice historically, look at this. Look what they've been doing. Overnight lows. Okay. They have not been nothing, nothing, nothing. They haven't getting there. Then we got to the overnight lows. So why would you not take along at the overnight lows? I don't know, man. You know, you got to look at a volume profile. I need to make that volume profile better, and I will. All right, we got to close above that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We got to close above it. What we got here going? What we got here going? Okay. And overnight, you had some stacked buying balances. You had a stacked selling balance up in this area. Okay. So you really have to be, you got to be aware of this area right up in here, folks. Right up in here. Look at all that negative delta right there. Look at that negative delta right there. That was that stacked selling balance area right there. So you got to be aware of that, man. If you get up in here, you might want to start locking in some profits, to be quite honest. That's just my opinion. Not financial advice. It's just the redneck's opinion of the market. All right, we got negative delta, and the current 5 minute is positive. That is actually looking pretty good. If we close positive, that's looking pretty darn good. Okay, that's looking pretty darn good. That's looking pretty darn good. You know, if I was thinking, I could have gotten back in on this. 'Cause if I would have gotten back in on that, my stop was down here. That would have been about the same amount of profits I made. So then that would have been roughly, if my mouse will work, roughly about 250. Okay, that would have been a nice little trade, but hey, oh well. Crap happens. Crap happens. Yeah, the little hyper scalping stuff is nice and fun on the NQ when it's conducive to my style, but nope, gotta go back to my old style years ago, trading off volume profile and just trying to get a little bit more and try to get yourself a runner. You know, there's a lot of volume up in here. I need to get that heat map. Resting orders could be 75 maybe. Yeah. Okay, we got a buy and bounce right up here, but we're going right up against the stacked and balance area. They need to start filling out the volume. It looked like we had a double stacked buy, but it got taken away. We're still looking at another buying area. That 73 right here could be taking some heat uh, right now. It could be taking some heat. The thing about these buy and balance areas, you got to be careful because if you get in now, you gotta be really careful. We'll be sitting on the offers up in here. We got about 115, we got about 100 sitting on the offers there at 168. Okay. Right up in this area where that selling balance is. Okay. Right there where that selling balance is. So you gotta be careful, folks. You gotta be careful. If we come all the way up here to the overnight highs, which we could make it, we might not. Who knows? Uh, we got some volume being filled out right here. This is pretty good. Got some light volume up here at 165. You got 100 sitting on the offer at 169. Uh, Market ain't going nowhere. Don't get FOMO. Market ain't going nowhere. We're trading the ES. The NQ's a squirrely little freak with all this political environment going on. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about right there? Boom. That's why I've extended these bars out a little bit more. Now, this is hard coded to extend out five, like one, two, three, four, five. Okay. And if it trades through it like this one right up in here, if it trades through it, it cuts it off. Kind of like this one right here. We traded right through it on the third candle. So it kind of cuts it off. Okay. But you got to be aware of stuff like that. I'm going to have a user setting where you can set it to like 10 or 20 bars fast, whatever you want. Okay. But right now, I just have it hard coded to 5 because there's a lot of other stuff that I kind of need to get going. Okay. There's kind of a lot of other stuff I need to get going. Okay. There's kind of some other stuff I need to get going. You know, I don't like this. We'll see how it reacts right here. We got that sell imbalance, and I just don't like that. Okay. We got that sell imbalance, and I just did. I just don't like that. We're going up on thin volume. If we're going to pop, we need to pop. Like, I just don't like that. For one, we had a wick up here. Okay. We had a wick up here. We had low volume. You got this sell and bounce area right here. You've got big negative delta right up in this area. Okay. You come down here, you get a little bit, you're using this for support. Okay. I just didn't like it because I got into the trade and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, you got sell and bounce right here. You got low volume up here with a wick. You know, just there's better trades to take. Okay. If it pops, it pops. I could care less. There's better trades to take. Okay. You got them sitting up here at 169 at 110. So, you know, there's better trades to take. There really is. There's just better trades to take. Plus, I think Pakistan is holding the talks today. Pakistan Foreign Minister Dar speaks with U.S. diplomat Natalie Baker. Okay, whatever. That was at 9:46. You know, I mean, what's going on with the talks? We don't know. This is man. If this thing, see, I'm glad I just cut the trade because I just don't like this. You know. Well, right up here, you got all these wrestling offers right there. You got 125 at 168. Okay, you got 100 at 169. I just didn't like it because then when I got in, I looked at the volume there and I'm like, I don't like it. Plus, we had a wick. Don't like it. News at 10. Yeah, we got news at 10. Was it Wash confirmation hearing? At least that's what financial juice is telling me. You know what I need to do? Once I get all this settled in and once we get a lot of people using this add-on. What I plan on doing is building out a news feed within NinjaTrader from Benzinga. Get the API going, get some good news feeds going. Yeah, with news, you got, I mean, it's not a red folder, but you do have wash confirmation hearing. Who knows what's going to happen with that? You got the talks over in Pakistan, I guess. You got to be careful with this political environment. And I'm looking at the heat map right here. I'm not seeing any really large orders come kicking in within the aggregated large volumes with the milliseconds. I just don't see large volume come kicking in. I mean, I'm talking about two, three, four, 500 volume. Okay, I'm not seeing that. So this is probably a lack of participation for the institutions today. Okay, we got 104. Yeah, that ain't much. I mean, we're just seeing a lack of it. Okay. I mean, all stinking morning. Look at this. All stinking morning. We had, well, that 73 was kind of, that 73. I mean, look at this. We've had nothing, no big single order contracts. Okay. You've got some little measly 100 microseconds, millisecond trades going off, but nothing really good. This is actually looking pretty good. You gotta be careful at 10 o'clock. Be careful. Be careful. They don't have anything on the books really sitting here, so you gotta be careful. Only about 240 down there at 158. Okay. You see what I talk about with the ES holds? ES likes to this stacked imbalance is not very big. It's just one single one, but that stacked buy imbalance. You see how it held it off pretty good. The ES really adheres pretty good, a lot better than the NQ trading stacked imbalances. That's just from my experience for years of trading the ES and NQ. Okay, it's just my experience. I mean, how much have I made today? $200. Yeah. I mean, the order executions where I made like 150. I think I made how much did I make on that one? Point. Yeah. So I ain't made very much, but at least I ain't losing. I mean, you saw me take the trades. Saw me take the trade here. It would have been nice if I would have held that one. That one would have been really nice, but I just didn't like this environment, to be quite honest. Could have had a runner. But with all this Middle East stuff happening, I just really can't. I just can't really trade like I really want to. Yep. What are we going to be doing? A few minutes. But this is what I really don't like to see. Okay. We got the top up there. You had this high, this low. Okay. We broke it a little bit. We broke that a little bit, and we're just sitting here. Okay. The thing is, look at that volume being picked up. Okay. You got more volume up in here to the sell. Now, granted, you got 400 positive delta, 500 positive delta, which is good. Okay, but you got a lot of selling volume up in here, and this is thin. This is really not an area that I'm interested in. There's a reason why. Well, for one, we're a big uh, negative delta area right up in here. You got this sell imbalance right here. Okay, that when we sold off, you have a sell imbalance right here, and you have sell imbalance all through the pre-market. Okay, I mean we're trading above the point of control, which is nice, but you got all this negative delta you got to deal with. Okay, maybe if we get a pullback and then you can try to go for a long. And I'll go back to hyper scalping once this Iran stuff is settled down. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Kind of like how down here at the bottom, like down here at the bottom of the chart or something, have like a tab for like a 1 minute, 5 minute, or volume profile tab. Is that what you're talking about? So you can switch in between the charts. Uh, yeah, I do plan on having that. There's a lot of plans I got going, but right now I need to get the DOM wrapped up. The chart trader is the chart trader is a basic chart trader. Okay, it can get you in. Uh, it can get you going. The chart trader here. Let me switch over. So I don't do this. Let me switch over to a sim account. So the chart trader, you have to have CT right there. HKs for hotkeys. Let's not. Well, I'll leave the hotkeys on. Hotkeys and all these commands. Okay, all these commands are up on the site under features. So if you shift left click and put you in the fill, you take this, you drag it down to your stop. Okay, if you try to, it's not going to let you put it up here, and then you can do take profit up in here if you really want to. You have to close these out. If you put your stop down here, and let's say you want to move your stop to like right here, it'll cancel this one and then redo it. Okay, and then place it right there. This is just a basic chart trader thing. And if you do, I think it's control right click. Yeah, to put your orders in there. I only have one contract. So if I try to do control right click and do another one, it says cannot allocate one contract, only zero available after executing partial take profit. So it won't let you do that. I need to put in some limit orders and stuff. And let's say you want to lock in some profits. So you can just lock it in right there. The order got canceled and then you got a working order right there. So you can cancel this out. If you want to close the whole trade, you can just hit cancel. Okay. Um, the chart trader is there. It's a very basic chart trader. Uh, it'll get you there. There's more work that needs to be done on that, but what I really need to keep working on is this right here. Need to keep working on the DOM. The DOM right here is loading up the history for RTH. The DOM right here is the orders are working. Here I'm on Sim 101. So let me just throw in, and you see the little blue box right there that just gives you your average price. Uh, what I need to work on is getting the limit orders. Like if you click on the bid for your stops, or let's say you sell down here, you click on uh, down here to put a stop market or take profit, or if you want to put a limit order down here or limit order up there. I got to work on that. Uh, But the next thing is the DOM. Once I can get the DOM, here, let me just flatten that. Once I get the DOM worked out, then then I need to work on the volume profile. Put it into a window like this, because these windows work good. Uh, this window that I recoded, thinking logic a little bit differently, is not working so good. But I'm going to have all the other stuff here. All these options right here on the volume profile. It's going to be the same. I'm just going to recode the window creation that I do for here for the volume profile. Then after all that's done, I'm going to be working on my tools, working on some tabs. Uh, Start working on some tabs, start working on some other things I want to work on. CES likes to adhere to the stacked and balance is pretty decent. I mean, it doesn't always do it. You're going to get stopped out. Okay, kind of like this one right up in here. You got stopped out for a little bit, but hey, at least you know where you're going to get in and get out. So you got some resting offers up here. You got about 130 sitting on uh, at 71, 73. You got 135 sitting there at 74. Uh, let's see if we can get up there. And I refactored the order flow pulse heat map. The performance on this should be better. Uh, and the main menu is down there at OFB. It's just called pulse heat map, though. Here, if you click on OFB, it's called pulse heat map. When you click on that, that gives you your live pulse. I don't know if Timothy's on. That's where it's at. I sent you an email last night because you sent me an email, so I responded pretty quickly because I was actually working on the site late last night. So look at this little volume area right here. If we lose this area right here, then look at this area for that support. You see how it reacts. That's why I use these volumes right up in here. Okay, that's why I use these volumes right here. You see how it traded through this area pretty quickly and then down in here. And then it'll probably start stalling out right up in here because there's heavy volume right here, but then volume up in here. Those are things that you kind of have to look at when you're trading larger time frames. We got sell and balance, so you definitely got sellers interested. Could we do what we did yesterday? Just have a little run, and then all of a sudden we just kind of go sideways the rest of the stinking day? Who knows? I do know at 11:30 I need to stop streaming, and I need to go somewhere and get something done. Uh, yeah, I'll be having. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. I want to the one big tool. The one big tool I want to have is to be able. Well, I need to put a VWAP in here, volume weighted average price. I need to do that. So you have the moving average down here where you can click it on and off. I want to have a overnight session, New York session VWAP. I want to have that in here. That's easy to do. I just need to find the time to do that. Maybe I can do that this weekend. That'll be a easy win. Um, that would be an easy win. So, but what I would really like to do is be able to click on the chart, be able to click and drag, and it gives you a volume profile of the area that you highlighted, gives you a volume profile and a delta profile of that area, and gives you kind of like a VWAP of that area you traded to that you highlighted. Uh, that's going to take a while. That's going to take a while. Right now, this is definitely functional for you to make money. So if people are paying for a license, you got to be able to make money, and you definitely can do it in where it's at now. So we got negative 230 delta, and we could, if we close positive, that's a good sign. A little divergence there for a break of that, and then a run up if we do it. Just got about a little bit less time left. What I really would like to do is kind of put a timer up in here, up in the top right of like how many seconds, a countdown timer to the next 5 minutes or the next 1 minute. I would like to do that. We got 140 sitting on the offer at 173. That's the problem right there. That's the problem. Little problem child right there, 173. Yeah, and we got the stinking volume just drying up. Got the stinking volume just drying up. We got negative delta, and we're closing positive. It looks like that's a pretty good sign right there. We got resting orders. Resting orders are fine, but what about let's do 30? I don't know. 30 might be pretty good for the bubbles. Uh, about 242 half, about two half negative delta, and if we close positive, that's pretty good. And if you get a break that high, that could be a nice little trade. But the problem is, if you do that, you got to put your stop down in this area right here. So about $375. So you got to adjust your size to that. Uh, Let me go over to my other window and do that. Up the contracts. And see, this is what I'll do. Yeah, that's not too good. I don't like that. I don't like that. Look, you see that volume right there? We lose that volume, this volume right up in here. If we lose this volume, you see on the profile that volume, but look at the previous 5 minute volume right up in here. If we lose that area, we could drift down, which would be nice for a little pullback. I mean, what is it doing on the 5 minute? We have it run up and we're consolidating up in this area. It kind of looks like a bull flag. Uh, so I got in a little bit on that. I am really going light on the contracts. I'm not trading the minis. I'm trading the micros because I'm not too fond of this trade, to be quite honest. I'm not too fond of it. We gotta get going, folks. We're right up here in where the selling was. You see this negative delta? It's not that good of a trade, to be quite honest. We're up here in this negative delta area. We're a big volume up in here that we gotta get through. Okay, we're up here in this negative delta area. This thing is not going too good, is it? Come on, pick it up, pick up the pace, pick up the pace. You got about 100 sitting there at 172. You got a little bit of volume coming in. We're going to break. Are we going to break through them? Are we going to break through the 150s, 129s? You see all the 72, 73 area? We need to break through that area right there. We need to break through that area right there. We need to break through. Uh, I got to peel some off. Uh, I'm trading the micros on this one. That's why you don't see it on the chart. I'm trading the micros on this one. Got some volume being filled out right there at 171. We're right at it. On the 5 minute, we're right at it. Uh, if we lose this area right up in here, if we lose this area right up in here, probably around 170, you got to get out, man. You just got to be a big boy, kind of like what it's doing right now. You just got to just go ahead and just take your loss. Just wait for another trade. That's why I didn't do that on minis. I did it on some micros, and because I didn't like to trade that much, that's why I just did it up in here. I just took some small, very small profits up in here, and then when we start losing this area, I just flatten it. I just get out. Don't like it. Regroup. So if we get a pullback to this area, you see how the moving average is sloping upwards? That is very nice. The moving average is sloping upwards. That is very nice. And you can actually look at a 1 minute if you really want to. ESM6 on a 1 minute. Look at solid candles if you want to. It has to load up the history. Do, 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 do. You see, we're just kind of grinding. You see, we're just grinding on this crap. You see where that imbalance area was? We're just kind of, it's just, yeah, just crap. We're just grinding on the crap. Yeah. We's just a grinding on the crap. That's why I cut the trade right here, man. You see right here? Up in this area, I took some profits. I'm like, man, I just don't see it. If we're gonna run it, we're gonna run it. Okay, so I peeled half of it off right here. Very little profit. Uh, and then once we start breaking this area right here, this volume area right here, you got to get out because what do I talk about? The thinly traded areas, and now look where we're at. We're down here. Okay. Uh, You just gotta look at that. And I'm a big believer in looking at the volume and the delta. Let me explain these volume bars. These volume bars are pretty significant. Okay, and really need to do a video on all the stuff that I put together now that the coding is starting to settle down a little bit. Let's take a look at this. Okay, if I can get my drawing tool. Okay, you see right over here. You see the opacity of those volume bars? You see that light opacity right there? You see that light opacity? It's kind of lightly shaded. That means low delta, low negative delta, low positive delta. Let me look at a bar that's pretty solid green. I really don't see any. Oh, okay. Right here. You see those volume bars right there? Nice big dark volume bars. That means it was high negative delta. Okay. So when you're looking at these volume bars, you got to look at the opacity of these volume bars because the way that I coded it gives you an idea of the delta in that volume area. Okay. Right up here, light, light positive delta, light negative delta. It's just the opacity of them. That's how I coded it. That's just how I wrote the code to do that. Boy, this is just, yeah, okay. I think this is looking pretty good with the with the bitmap, with the pre-rendered bitmaps. I did pre-rendered bitmaps for this, and it seems like it's doing pretty good. What we got about if you go on to 100, I really don't know what because I haven't traded ES. I've been trading NQ for quite a few months. And I was really doing good before this Iran conflict started. We got about 100 sitting on the bid at 164. At 64, they're getting filled. We're starting to trade below the moving average on the 5 minute. You see that volume that kind of picked up. Now the delta is really picking up. You see how that delta is really picking up now? See how that delta is picking up? We got a sell and bounce right up in that area too. And also, when you're looking at the heat map here, when you're looking at this heat map, the same logic. You, you see those green bubbles? You see how light opacity that is? That means light positive delta. When you see dark red, bubbles, that means high negative delta, or dark green bubbles right there, high negative delta right there, high positive delta right up in here. It just means uh, light positive delta right there on that 86. Okay. When you see a nice dark green or dark red, that means high delta, positive or negative. That's what that means, the opacity of it. And eventually, I am going to get this pulse heat map written in its own desktop application. Uh, I just need to know how I want to do the broker connections and stuff like that. We got some selling delta right there. We're kind of flatlining. This is an area where you want to be careful. Okay, you see how this 5 minute right here in this area. You see how we were sloping upwards on this right here. Okay, we closed above it. We were kind of flatlining. Then we started trading above this volume area, and see how it's starting to curl upwards. When you're above the moving average, you kind of want to look for longs. If you're below it, you want to look for shorts. The thing is, when it's flat line, the way it is right now, it's starting to go flat. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. Maybe you want to size down if you take trades, but you got to be careful. This area right here, pretty good area to be going short because of that right there. Maybe you get in here, get out around this area, get about $200-300. Okay. The reason I took this trade here is because up in this area is because we were off the overnight lows. That's why I took that long. And I should have went in multiple contracts and peeled me off a little bit, some profits, and then had one runner, and that would have been nice, but I didn't do that. I don't trust this market. Not now. No, no, no. I do not trust it whatsoever. So if the delta bar is short but dark, it would be high delta on low volume. That is correct. If the delta bar, well, this is not a delta bar. This is a volume bar. Okay. These are volume bars because you're looking at volume bar. If you want to look at a delta bar, this is the delta bars. Okay. And then if you're looking at delta bars, if you go to candle and you look at delta bars, that is the delta bars. That, but I just look at volume bars with the delta inside there. But yes, that is correct. If you're looking to do kind of like this one right here, kind of like this one right here, that one right there was short volume, low volume, but high negative delta right there. This one, high volume, but low positive delta. It's just do 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 do. Okay. Yes, I'm refactoring the. Let's see. If we start breaking this area right up in here, if we start breaking this area right here, and you come up and you got some heavy negative volume with some good delta, but you got to think right here at this volume area, but you have some big. You might be able to get yourself a run, but you got to. Come on, mouse. Boy, that thing, that button. I always have to do. Got me a Logitech 502. I've had this thing for a while. Um, and I'm hitting a button with my thumb that that does the control. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. Okay, so we got this volume area right here being filled out. Let's look at this. You got a negative volume right up in there. We're above it. So, but you got to think about this moving average. If we close below this, we got about a minute. If we close below that moving average, and it starts flatlining, that means I'm not too sure about taking longs. To be quite honest, if we run up and we got a pullback right here, but you got to think about these pullbacks, and this is very interesting. Okay, you've got, come on, mouse. You got this area right here. You got this area. This is an inside bar. Normally, if you can get in on the break of these inside bars and put your stop down in this area right here. You see what I'm talking about? This happens a lot. Maybe your target is up in this area. So once you get up in here, maybe you can try and peel some off and move to a break even. But I really, this is kind of hard for me to take because of of this area right here. This is just kind of hard to take. Um, I'm trying to look to see, and also you got to think about this: 1,000 negative delta, 1,200 negative delta. But look at this area right here. Okay, you've got 17, 200, 200, 100, 1,300, but then you got two bars right here that are high negative delta. That's just things you got to be aware of. See, bars like this, these inside bars, okay, 'cause we didn't break the high, didn't break the low. You get these little inside bars like this, okay? These are really nice when you have a run up like this, and you have a pullback, and then you got like a little inside bar. Those are really nice. But this moving average is flatlining. I mean, if you do try and get something on this, oh man, maybe I do this. No, I mean that's like a $200 stop. Hello. What time is it? 10:30. Yeah, I'm thinking if we this area right here, I don't know what's going on with the news. I'm possibly done trading for the day. I've had some profitable trades, so I'm kind of done. Uh, we're right here at the point of control. The 5 minutes flatline, and it's really hard to be taking this buy or a sell. You got some high negative delta. You just got to know where you're going to be putting your stops. I don't like taking trades when a moving average like this is flatlining because this is a Heikin-Ashi data smoothed out with the non-exponential moving average. Okay. Um, got stack sell and bounce area right here. You're breaking that area. If the delta starts picking up, you could be good. If the delta starts picking up, you're right here at the point of control. Uh, if we close below this, this will be nice because that means that moving average will be sloping even downwards even more. So you really don't want to be taking longs. You can take longs like I did here if you're right here, like at the overnight lows, which is like 150 maybe. Okay, so now we're starting to slope down. If we on that moving average, we need some negative. Oh, wait a minute. Let me bring the heat map up. All right, we got them sitting on the offers up there. You got about 300 sitting at 158. At 158, you got to be aware. You got about at 158, you got about 280 sitting on the bids there at 158. So you got to be careful, folks. You got to be careful. If you can get you some, get you some. But if you get down in there, get your finger on the flat trigger to close that baby out. Okay, if you can get down there, you need to have your finger on the trigger ready to close it because uh and it could be a spoofer, who knows? We don't know. You got about one person. Come on, man. Boy, you just kind of wacky today, ain't you? About 100 sitting on the offer there at 163, about 100 sitting at 164. 163, 164, they're sitting on the offer. All right. Are we going to get down to that 158? They might test the 158s. They might not. Um, as you can see, the volume is being built out a little bit with the negative 200 delta, but that's not very much, to be quite honest. This delta needs to be picking up, man, like 4 or 500 for it to really start moving down. It really needs to start moving down. You got to look at this. Are they going to get down to the 185s and kind of kind of kind of chew them up a little bit? We don't know. We don't know. All right. I mean, I did get in. This was on a handful of micros. I got in right here, and then I just got out about that 180, about this area right up in here to 158, 158. Just because I just went on ahead and just cut it off. It's a very small trade, but I didn't go in on the mini. I just went on the handful of micros. I got another order entry window up here, as you can see, uh, right up in here. And I do this. I will be trading the minis on the main map, and if I'm a little bit profitable, then I will switch over to micros and do a handful of micros. I will do that. Ain't no problem with that. Because when you get down here to 158, you just go ahead and cut it off because it doesn't look like wanted to do anything with them. You see, you start getting down into this area, you just get down this area, and then when you start seeing uh, the selling getting absorbed, then you just cut the trade. You get yourself a few points. Let's come down here one stud. You got about 275 sitting on the bed at 158. You got them running now. They're getting filled. They're definitely getting filled. They are getting filled, but they're not getting rewarded. They're getting filled, but they ain't getting rewarded. Them sellers got filled, but they ain't getting rewarded. You're gonna have to push that thing down and break it if you want to go, man. If you want to go for the overnight lows, man, you got to break this. You got to really fill. There we go, about 116 up in there. There we go. Now you got to hold it because if it spikes down and the buyers aggressively come back up into this area, that's not good. That's not good. The buyers start coming up in here aggressively, kind of like you see what i- if they dip down and you're thinking it's going to break, then they aggressively come right back up in here. That's not good. That's not good. You see what I'm talking about? That's not good. That's not good. Okay, they came down here, they bounced off, they came down here, they spiked down, then the buyers aggressively came back up in this area. So that's why I went on ahead and just cut the trade earlier. You got to look at the 5 minute where we're at. We're right here at that sell and bounce area, but that sell and bounce got taken out. This right here up in this area, right up in here. And also you've got this area right here. You see all this positive delta right here? Okay. If you try to get in on the break of this area, you better try and go for a short low scalp like I did, and then you start looking over here on the heat map and you see where the levels are. You just gotta get out, man. See what I talk about with the buyers being aggressive with this? I hope people understand that. I don't know what's going on now. We got news. What's going on? Fed chairman nominated Wars Fed holds on to its forecast longer than it should. That was at what 10:38. I don't know. This is why the main reason why I have switched back over to the ES. I've traded ES for years. I actually started on the ES before micros even came out. I was trading the ES and slinging minis on a $3,000 personal account because the, the fake prop firms were not around and the micros were not around. So I traded the ES, and it's nice because it's a thickly traded market. Okay, the NQ is can be very, very volatile. Now, I know some people like that, but for me, I just like base hits. Base hits, get a runner. That's just me. I like being consistent more than one hit wonder. I just like being consistent. But it really dried up, didn't it? I mean, it really dried up. I mean, the resting orders were. Here, let's put the resting orders to 75 and see if that brings back anything a little bit. Um, This window, yep, it's still. So I guess the performance is better now with this. This is very concerning. If I can get my drawing tool, my mouse will work. This right here, this wick right here. Okay, and the light volume, and we kind of wick down. Okay, that is a wow. Boy, I'm gonna have to probably get me a different mouse. The little buttons ain't working too good. Uh, ooh, you got some selling up in here. You don't have much on the books. Right here at the about 5 points away from the lows. The lows is 71.50 on the overnight lows. Overnight lows is 71.50 on ES. We're currently on a red candle. If you kind of look at this, you'll see that. Let me come over here. Okay, you'll see that right there. We got about 71.50 right there. Okay, 71.50. We're about 5 6 points away from it. Okay, this is and then next support right here would be about 138. Okay, up in this area, right up in here. Uh, that's why it took that long earlier. We came down to the overnight lows, and you got to look at this. See the overnight low right here? We didn't come to it. Overnight low, nothing. Overnight low, we traded down a little bit through it, and we kind of traded right back up into it. That's why you can kind of lower your size and maybe go for a longer day trades if you want. You just got to be aware where your stops are and trade off the volume profile. We're breaking. We're breaking. Are we going to break the lows? Look at this, man. Let's go, boys. Did Uncle Sam's slush fund run out? You can't prop this crap up no more. Who knows? I'm just saying, figure of speech there, SEC. Don't come after me. Y'all did this crap in 2008. We got to sell and balance. Gotta be careful if you're trying to catch a falling knife. Got about 75 at 149 sitting there. What's down a little bit further? Got about 90 sitting at 147. See this 1700 negative delta? If you're trying to catch a falling knife, what you need to see is you need to start seeing that delta not going down the way. See how it's 1800, 1900? You don't want to be seeing that if you're trying to catch a falling knife. You got a buy and bounce coming in here. You really don't want to be seeing that, okay? Coming down here to 147. You really need to start seeing it being absorbed down in here. The sellers being absorbed. That's what you want to see on the heat map. Uh, and you want to see this number start, uh, what's the word? Stabilizing. Okay. We still got a lot of selling up in here. Okay. We still got a lot of selling up here. On this current 5 minute, you're at negative 1700 delta. See how we were bouncing off that low right there? We broke the low and then we're just kind of bouncing off of the overnight lows. You had a big divergence right here. You see this right here, 284 positive delta, but we closed below it. Get in on the break of that, and the moving average is sloping downwards. That's pretty good. Okay, that's telling you positive delta up in this area right here, but they got absorbed because we closed down in here. And you get a break of that. This is the kind of stuff I scalp on a lower time frame. You can do it on a higher time frame too. Got about 100 sitting on the bid there at 148, 147. 148, 147. They're sitting on the bid right there. They're getting filled there at 148 a little bit. Now, if they start getting filled and they start refreshing this, like, you see how it went to 70? If they and went back up to 100, they're refreshing the bid right there. You see how they're refreshing that bid? You see how they're refreshing that bid? They're refreshing that bid. The buyers were refreshing it. Are they going to get it? We have no idea, but they are refreshing that bid. Are they going to go down to 147? Wow, they aggressively went down and aggressively came right back up. You see how the buyers aggressively took back control? Now the seller, boy, it's a nice little battle. They're down there at 147. We're sitting here down at the lows of the overnight lows. We're sitting here at the overnight lows. We're sitting here at the overnight lows. Where are we at? We're at 148. 71, we're at 148. The lows was 150. We're just sitting here at the lows. Just going to move that to a break even. I've got to move that to a break even. If we actually lose this area right here, got to close this out, but we're not. We're going back up. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. Um, so that was just another play off the overnight lows. My God, man, come on. Um, we had some low volume up there. It had a 1900 negative delta. We have some low negative delta up there. Come on, mouse. The main thing I was looking at is you see all this how they aggressively came down and they popped up and then they kind of came down here and then they aggressively took action back into control. And when you see action like that on a heat map, when you see the sellers step in and then all of a sudden you see the buyers just smack the shit out of them and they run it back up. That means there's institutions battling it out. That means there's institutions that are willing to step up to the plate and run this thing back up. So when you see that kind of action on the heat map and you're seeing 100 bids sitting there at like 149, you're sitting at the overnight lows. Yes, you can go ahead and get in. Now I went on ahead and just got out. I peeled off a little bit more and then it ran back up. I don't even know how much it was. Uh, huh? One okay. Uh, so I bought it 147 hat 3/4. 147 3/4. 147 3/4. Okay. And then I just started scaling out. 147 3/4, got a little bit of pop, and actually I cost average down in here, and then it just ran up, and then I just closed it. It's a counter trend trade. You got if you're trying to catch a falling knife like this, you really need to start looking at the delta shifting. If you're trying to catch a falling knife, okay, you don't want to catch it right here when you got some big negative volume and the delta extremely friggin' exploding. Okay. You want to catch it when there's low volume being filled out and then uh, that 600 negative delta. Okay. That's telling you, okay, the momentum could be shifting. You really have to look at the heat map to see where the support is and are the buyers aggressively stepping in. And if they are, then you can go ahead and get in on the lows. Okay. I got in multiple times. I actually it was like trading a mini to be quite honest uh because of this right here. Okay. Because I'm in on my funded account and the quantity for the minis is fat. Okay. And I was scaling in, scaling out. And I do that when I'm doing stuff like this. I don't just go all full port crazy on minis, especially in this environment. I go in a handful of micros. I go in with a handful of micros. When they are all right, all right, all right. Don't be trying to thinking by that. Look at negative 1500 delta. Look at negative 1500 delta. It was negative 600 delta, negative 1500 delta. That's some serious uh, selling right there. That's some serious damn selling. See right there, big negative delta. You got delta it's starting to dry up a little bit. Uh, Still, that's a little too much, man. That's a little too much for me to be even considering. You might want to wait for a shift. Man. And also, I don't know if you heard me say they're refreshing the bid. That's why I got in because they were refreshing the bid. When they're selling off and they're holding them off and they're refreshing the bid, let's say it goes from 100 to like 50 and it kind of jumps down and then all of a sudden the bid up here goes from like 50 to 100. They're refreshing it. You got to look at these numbers. You got to look at these numbers right here. Okay. Uh, Like this number right here, okay, that 1 and a quarter, that 1 and a quarter, you see how it okay, you see how it jumped and then they refreshed it a little bit? That's the kind of stuff you really need to be looking at. You see how that volume kicked in. This is some pretty significant selling on this delta. I mean, this is man, did some news come out? Pakistan information at 10:49. Holy smokes, that was 10:49. We got breaking U.S. retail. Come on, man, that's late. Formal response from Iranian side about confirmation of delegation to attend Islamabad peace talks is still awaited. Okay, whatever. Um, yeah, this is some serious selling. Okay, we're down here. Okay, we're down here in this area right here. You see that point of control right there? See that point of control where I said earlier that could be support? We're right at it. We're right at it. We broke the overnight lows. It's not for me. I'm not going to be trying to catch a falling knife. I tried it up in this area. I tried it up in this area. It didn't work. I got me a little bit because, I saw the pop and I sold some, moved to a break even. Then I saw it drying up and I just flattened it. Okay, uh, this is a pretty significant area because if we lose this area and they stay heavy on the selling, we're coming down. We're coming down. We don't know what's going to happen with these talks. Uh, the main reason I flipped to the ES is just because it's a thickly traded market. Uh, it's a little bit better to sell in environments like this. It's a little bit better to trade in environments like this. NQ is not. NQ is a squirrely freak, extremely volatile, thinly traded. It will blow right through your stock markets and spank the hell out of you. You got sell and bounce right here, but it's extremely light volume. Okay, very light volume. Very light volume on that sell and balance. You got 100 sitting on the offer at 130. When it starts doing stuff like this, you just need to just step aside and just wait. Don't get FOMO. Just wait. The market ain't going to go nowhere. It'll be around tomorrow. All right. I was red, a little bit red for the day in the morning. Now I'm green, barely, but I need to stop. So I'm going to close out that execution window. I am done. I know when to stop. Got 83 sitting on the bid at 123. This selling's at 1500, 1600 negative delta. They are they are definitely getting filled and they ain't refreshing. Look at that. We got 200 right there. We got about 100 sitting on the bid at 120. 240 sitting on the offer at 1 1/4. 240 sitting on the offer at 1 1/4. They ran up, they bounced off of it. We got about 100. Boy, they are really, really, really into selling this. You got about 100 sitting on the bid at 120. You got about 240 sitting on the offer at 123. They're actually, ooh, they got eaten. Ooh, they got aggressively eaten. Or no, I think they got yanked. It moved too fast. I couldn't tell. Ah, I need to give that some padding down at the bottom so it doesn't cut that delta off. So it's not stacked on top of each other. I need to do that. 236 right there, about 90 on a bid at 1 1/4. Got about 81 coming in, high positive delta right there. 236 positive delta, 81 positive delta. Uh, if you try to get on something like this and you break the low, you better get the hell out. That's all I gotta say. If you try to get in on something like this and you break this low, you better get out. You need to see this delta on this current 5 minute stabilizing or moving up. If it starts going from 300 to 500, that is not, no, 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 sir. No, sir. Just like exactly what it's getting ready to do. That is a no go for me. That shit ain't stabilizing. Market ain't going to go nowhere. Don't get FOMO. Market ain't going nowhere. You got 100 sitting on the bed at 120. Okay. You got to look at this candle. You got to look at this. You got to understand that there's selling balance right there. Very low volume. So it probably means nothing, but it's something you do have to be aware of. Why does that say overnight on my friggin'? Because you're on overnight, you dumbass. Oh my word. Oh my word. What a F up today. Oh my word. That was a major F up. Major F up. Oh my God. This is what happens when I work late at night. I hope you guys are using this add-on a lot better than I am. That was a major F up. I was like, why does that say overnight? What the hell is going on? Whatever. I got about 20 more minutes. Whatever. Okay. You got some buyers right up in here. These are large single order contracts. You can use them as support. Okay. You can use them as support. You got those large buyers right there, single order contracts. You can use them as support. At 152 takes too much heat. We're going back up to the moving average, to be quite honest. Man, that was a major F up for me. Boy, did I screw that one up. We got some volume being built out up in here towards this sell imbalance. Sell imbalance is very low. I mean, look at that, man. It's very low sell imbalance, but still it's an imbalance. But very low. Look at that. Look at that. This is how when you start seeing that shift right there. When you start seeing this right here, the sellers 600 basically won 1,000 positive delta, and then you got another buyer right here, buyer right here. You got a little 50 single order contract right there. You got 152 sell contracts in one single order, 152 sell contracts. Okay. And once you start doing stuff like that, you can get in. Bum, 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 bum. Like I'm done trading my funded account, but right here, this volume ledge right here, you see this volume ledge right there? If we sell that, we could come down to here. So maybe you can do a starter position right here and then maybe add to it down here. But if you break that lows, you gotta get the hell out if you do that. So if you get in on something like this, it was a little bit late on the entry because, well, screwed the pooch on this one. You had a lot of buyers up in this area right here. You had a lot of buyers that are willing to lift it. Now you got all this volume being built out up in this area right here. Okay, you got a lot of volume being built out in this area right up in here. Um, and we're right down here up in this area too. You see right here in this support area, the previous days point of control is right here when all the volume is. Yeah, we broke the overnight lows, but right now we're at yesterday's. To do. We're at yesterday's. You can just go ahead and sell you some right there, and maybe move your stop down to here or break even. Sell yourself a little bit, move your stop to a break even. Okay, this is how it's done, and I'm sorry. I screwed the pooch on this and missed it. I don't know where the hell the I don't know what I was thinking. Boy, that was a major brain fart. Major brain fart. Oh my word. Oh well, tomorrow's another day. We'll go at it tomorrow. We'll go at it tomorrow. You can move your stop up here. If you want to take your stop and move your stop, you can move it. You can move it up. Okay. Kind of like how what I like to do is kind of look at these bids and see you got 72 sitting there. So maybe you want to move the stop. Whoops. Maybe you just trail it up. I don't know. Order filled, and then you get about $300 trade. Okay. Um, yeah, that's how that is. Man, I screwed the pooch on this, didn't I? Do 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 do. Shit happens, I guess. Um, but this is kind of stuff you're looking for. When you get in here and you start selling off, you don't be getting in on stuff like this, man. You don't be getting in on stuff like this. You wait for the delta to shift a little bit, and you got some buyers right up in here. Okay, then you had another buyer step in right here. Okay, if you get in here, you get out here for about 6 points, and now you're up about 12 points. That's a nice little trade. That is how it's done. Don't know why I didn't have that profile set to RTH. You know what I need to do? I wonder how I can have it automatically just flip, but some people are going to not want that. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. Tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day. You had a 50 measly buyer right there. Boom. Had a little measly buyer right up in there. Little 50 contracts. Let's look at this earlier. Oh yeah, this is a good one too, man. Look at that. Oh man, this is really good. This is good. Come on back up in here, man. Get your little booty up in here. This is good. Look at this. Look at this right here. You got the moving average. We're trading, we closed above it. You got 145 single order sell contract right there. And we closed above with a buy and bounce area. And then you get in up here. Okay. And you probably start taking your profits right there because you're starting to lose that volume area right up in here. You just take your profits right up in there. But this right here is a trapped seller. Boom. Because, well, we closed above. So they're trapped and the delta kind of shifted. So that's telling me that it's a go sign. Didn't get very much, but it's a go sign. If we if we had the buyers right here, you see how these buyers right here? Well, let's say this candle opened up here and then closed down here. Okay. And you got those buyers right there, a lot of them. And we close down here, and that delta's like 1,000 negative. Then yeah, those are trapped, and you get in on the break of that, and you keep selling. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Nice little distribution of buying volume up in here. Yeah. Oh well, we missed this one. That was a nice 12 pointer, 10, 12, 10 pointer easily. That was a nice one. This is how you try and catch a falling knife is just like this. Just like this. I guarantee you people buying. People buying. Below account, people buying and they finally get it. They blow two of them and they finally get one of them. Well, even a blind squirrel can find a nut every now and then. But if you want to try and catch a falling knife, this is how you do it. You wait for the sell off and you wait for the buyers. You wait for these institutions, these market makers that have bought thousands of contracts off of these institutions, and the market makers start slinging the orders in because these market makers will buy this stuff off of these institutions and they'll hedge against it and then they'll unleash it throughout the market. Okay. They don't have to tell us what's going on with their buying and selling, but once it gets executed, yeah, that is regulated and that has to be reported. But they play off the backs of each other. I mean, that would have been a $500 trade. Oh well, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day. You see how I said that that volume right there? You see that very stack sell and bounce, very light volume. We just traded right through it. I mean, it's just not much. All right, well, 11:15. Yeah, that's how you catch falling knife. You let it sell off, and you look for the big players to step in. You gotta have more than just one like little 50 single order contract. You gotta have more than that, man. You gotta have more than that. That ain't nothing. Okay. I mean, once you see these are single order contracts, 55. That ain't nothing. You see that 176, that's something. That's 176 contracts in one single order. They are buying that from another institution or as a market maker or whatever. They are playing off the backs of each other. And there's another bubble behind there that's even bigger than that 55. I can't see it because that's. And then you see the 128 step in right here, single order. Yeah, this right here, boom. You, you're using that. This area you're using for support. Okay, that whole area. And then you start seeing this, the volume being filled out. Nice. Get in there. Where are you going to put your stop? Well, more than likely, if you lose this area, you know, you're gonna keep selling. You got to put the odds in your favor. Uh, I kind of took this trade blindly without seeing the bubbles, but I just saw the price action and the delta shifting. That's why I did it. Da, da, da. All right, I'll be right back. All all righty. Here, let me close this down. I'm about ready to stop the stream because I need to get going. Uh, but yeah, if you want this add-on, it's going to be $95 for a whole year. Uh, that pricing is there. I'm going to be going to a monthly. If you don't want to do that, it's going to a monthly. Uh, it's going to be like a 1 month, 3 months, 6 month, and 1 year. So that's what it's going to be. Yeah. And what I'm thinking about is like 1995 monthly, and then 45 dollars for 3 months, and 79 dollars, $75 for 6 months, something like that, and then like 120 for a whole year. So if you want to do it uh, and save yourself like 25 bucks, I'd do it now. To be quite honest, I'd do it now if you want to do it, because the pricing is going to be going to 1 month, 3 months, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. And I know some people, and I'm going to be looking to do. Uh, I'm going to be looking to do another free license key here. It's not going to be as long as it was while I was developing this, but it will be maybe. I don't know. In the future, it'll be like a free license key maybe for a week, or I might set this up so where you can just go ahead and try it out for like a week. But yeah, if you want to do it, I'd go ahead and do it now. That negative delta is picking up. So when you get in here, you get in here, and you start seeing this right here, and then you start breaking that area, you really just need to take your profits. Don't be trying to look for home runs all the time. I mean, that's like a $10. That's like a $500 trade on ES. Okay, that's a nice little trade. You had to wait quite a bit to get that. You had to wait quite a bit to get that. But that's how you catch the falling knives if you want to try and catch them. Is you got to wait for the backing of the big players to step in. Or this right here is a nice trade too. The moving average was starting to slope upwards. We closed above it. You had a 145 sell single order sell contract right there. We closed above it. They're trapped because they're probably thinking of buying in on that sell and bounce right there. And then we move from there up to up in this area. You get out on that doji when we start losing that volume and just get out for 3 points. It's not a big winning trade. Who cares? Get out. Why take a friggin' full stop out? Okay? Why do that? And then you had the sellers come in here, start stepping in. Then you had sellers step in here. You had sellers step in here, and we broke that area. Where where's your stop? Up here, because if those sellers get taken out, we're running back up. But that would have been a nice little trade all the way down here for like what 30 points. That's like a $1,500 trade. That doesn't happen a whole lot on the ES. Okay, I mean in this environment probably, but when the market gets back to normal, you'll probably take a trade like this and probably make yourself maybe 8, 10 points on that. Three $500 trade. That's pretty good. Going on some multiple minis. I mean, this is getting your base hits and stuff like that. That is how it's done. This right here was sort of a trap buyer. I mean, if we closed below here on the candle, if we closed below here and then that buyer was right there, then you get in on a break of that. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of like, you really have to look at, let me take the moving average off. You really have to look at where the buyers are. Okay, we're looking at 930. You got some buyers right here, and you got sellers right there. Buyers, buyers, sellers, sellers. These are single order contracts. Um, high single order contracts. These aren't the aggregated millisecond bubbles. These are the single order contract bubbles. And I like trading that better, quite honest. See that 51 buyer? See how these buyers are, okay? You had some buyers right up in here. Then you had 51 buyers right up in here. You see how they're going to defend this area? They're kind of holding them off. They're defending. These buyers are defending that area. You got 104 sell contracts. So the sellers are trying to step in too. But you should have already made your money right here. Don't be trying to do it again. And if you do, go in half the size and don't give back all the profits you just made. It's 11:30. I got to get going. But we'll be back at it tomorrow. As you can see here, we're down in this area right here. We broke that point of control. We're down in this area right here. I mean, if we start breaking, uh, we start breaking this right here, that could be kind of bad up in here. But I'll be back at it tomorrow, 9:15. We'll be trading the ES again until this war is over. Then I might go back to the NQ. Is that 104 going to be taking heat? Looks like they are. The buyers got a financial interest right here. The buyers have definitely got a financial interest. You got to think. You got like 200, 300, 350 buy contracts, 400 buy contracts. This is the financial interest for them. Okay. Yeah. Uh, you got to make sure that delta right there, that 30 something delta. Now we're starting to pick back up. There we go. Flip positive. And that was a pretty good surge right there that flipped positive. I need to look at the delta surge setting for the ES. I need to maybe look at that tonight and see what this delta surge is, right? I don't know if you want to do stacked levels of 3, maybe 2. I don't know. But I'll run it through the playback and see what I can do with the delta surge. Because delta surge is pretty nice. It really is. When you get a delta surge and it shows up the dots on the candles, uh, and you close at it or above it, then yeah, that's a nice little because the buyers are definitely stepping in when you get those delta surges. And this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. I like this. See, the financial interest. Like I said earlier, financial interest for them for these 400 buyers right up in here. This is a major financial interest. Major financial interest for these buyers right here. You had this seller try to step in and they're getting clobbered. So they're gonna if they cover it, it's gonna be fuel to the fire to keep going up. But if you're in twice down here and you're up here, you better be moving to a break even to protect that capital, protect them profits that you just made. You start trailing it up. When you start breaking this volume area right here, you can go ahead and start taking some. All right, all right, all right. But I gotta get going. So 11:32, I gotta get going. I got somewhere to be. Uh, So I will be back at it tomorrow. I will be back at it tomorrow, 9:15. We'll go over the volume profile. We'll find out what the overnight has done, and then we'll start looking at this again. Start trading ES. See if we can't make a $500,000 day. I'll talk to you later.